Hello, it's the very last Out of Control, and as you can imagine, we've got something pretty special lined up for you over the next half an hour.
You must admit that we've seen a massive variety of action over the past 11 weeks, and this last show is one of the most action-packed of the entire series. Of course, most of the major highlights have come from Finland, and so it's only fitting that we should spend most of the first part of the show celebrating what they've been up to over the past few years. I suppose that Finnish drivers are a bit like lemmings in the way that they throw themselves off the edge of the roads to almost certain disaster. But there must be more to it than that, because it's impossible to believe that so many drivers can so desperately misread such a simple corner. And it's the same here. This is a simple corner, and it's just rank bad driving, you'd have to agree. None of them even think to use the brakes to get the car to turn in. It's just, here's a corner, and off we go. Only in Finnish. There are just too many trees around for this sort of driving, aren't there? Ooh, nice V-section. That won't polish out, will it? This little piece of gravel road looks just like somewhere that you'd find on the Yorkshire moors. It's fast and open. The drivers can see where they're going, but they still fly off the road. And having just deprived half the area of power, it'll probably be best for this crew if they can get away from the area themselves. Although that might be a bit of a drag. You see, this is the way that it should be done. Nice and gently, slow and sensible. Oh well, perhaps not. Well, maybe a bit more aggressive then. Whoops. How about a few last words from you, Virtual?
Well, as you can see, he just gets a little bit wide, and then he just clips a telegraph pole, crashes into the rocks, and then it's just like a scene from the Blues Brothers, really, or something like that, isn't it?
Now this is guaranteed to slow your stage times down a bit, and the same marshal now has more work to do. He drops a bonnet down, but this isn't good enough for the impatient driver who wants it fastening properly. The driver's name? Oh, it's Ricardo Bernison. Flying tonight. And when exactly did you pass your driving test, young man? Will he? Won't he? At this speed, of course he will.
Well, that was all very gentle. I'm lulling you into a false sense of security before we get to the second part of the show.
As a driver, there's nothing more frustrating than making a simple mistake that costs you loads of time. It's also pretty embarrassing, and can prove to be a little bit annoying when the spectators start to use your car as an adventure playground, whilst making no obvious attempt to get the car out of the ditch. This is a Scottish rally, and a spectator-friendly stage in the middle of a local park. After all the international runners have been through, it's time for the national runners, who run on the same stages. Needless to say that after all the four-wheel drive cars have been through, the stages do become rather cut up, which makes life difficult for these chaps. This old Chevette gets stuck, and everybody piles in to help. Then along comes a Nova, and after just failing to run over a marshal, he drives into the back of the Chevette. I don't know if this was a friendly helping hand, or a "why don't you get out of my way, you fool?" But whatever it is, the poor Nova can only look on in frustration as the Chevette drives off, leaving the Nova stuck instead. The marshals decide that the only way to get him forward is to push him backwards, but he doesn't like that idea. So then confusion reigns as they try to push him all four ways at the same time. But at last he's on his way again, having lost considerably more time than the Chevette did. That was nearly perfect, wasn't it? But sadly, only nearly. And this wasn't even nearly perfect, and he's made a right mess of the Escort. And then there are the high-speed incidents that scare both the people in the car and the person holding the camera. When a car comes towards you at this speed, and you know that the driver is out of control, then you've just got to hope for the best. Particularly that it doesn't dig in and roll over you. Now, I quite definitely wouldn't stand in a spot like this, at the end of a long straight, and on the same level as the cars as they come towards you. That's not the place to be. Amazingly, Mal Herrick, who filmed these shots, is still alive and has the use of both his legs. But if this Metro had been going just a little bit quicker, he may not have either. And he never even flinched. Just before the break, here's a last brief look at the world of rallycross. And I think there's nothing more fitting, really, than to finish with a rallycross traffic jam. Crazy guys, crazy sport.
Well, please join us after the break when you can see 100 of the top incidents from the whole series. Well, thanks for coming back to us. We've got something very special for you now. It's the top 100 incidents from the entire series, starting with numbers 100 to 51.
That's the third run down, and he is here, but oh, we've got a roller here. Oh, lordy me, we've got another car.
The stars of the shows have definitely been the boys and girls from Finland and the world of rallycross. And yet, as we move into our top 50 incidents of the series, it's worth remembering and marvelling at the fact that in the whole of this 12-week series, any injuries suffered by the drivers and navigators have been of the minor variety. Amazing, isn't it? You wouldn't really think it was possible. Anyway, let's get on with numbers 50 to 11 as we see everybody going over the limit and out of control.
When your eyes are fast that you can't see.
Well, it's difficult to imagine you could top that, isn't it? But here's the top 10. See how many of them you would have chosen.
At 10, yes, he never touched the sides. What a monster in a Toyota from Finland. At 9, it is big and it's not clever. All over the shop on the Isle of Man. At 8, John Robson on Castleor in Scotland, and incredibly, he was out again in the same car the following week. At 7, that'll teach him to cut the corner, redesigning an Escort at Croft. At 6, there was these three fellas, yet another Toyota from Finland. At 5, and yet another Toyota goes over and over and over and out. At 4, a right rallycross mess at Linden Hill, when two cars collide. At 3, Josh Sturgeon's attempt to enter the Guinness Book of Records for multiple roles in his ex-Ford Mondeo. At 2, it's huge, it's big, and how did anybody get out of that? And at number 1, it took the top off the camera, but fortunately it didn't take the top off the cameraman here.
Well, that's it. I hope you enjoyed it. And as I've stressed throughout, nobody was hurt during the making of this show. Quite remarkable, really. Anyway, see you again.